Most people think that the cities write the codes, okay? And they think like, I see this happening like in Facebook groups where a guy, we talked about that flashing code, a guy will say, hey, what's the flashing code? Can you send me, does anybody send me the flashing code? Guy gets in there like, here it is, what's your email address? I'll send you the flashing code. And like 10 other guys say, yeah, send it to me too, send it to me too. And I'm seeing like they're all like the blind leading the blind. I know that because the guy that sent him the code has no idea what he's talking about, because if he did, he would have first said, is it commercial or is it residential? Because that actually matters. You can't use one like a residential code for a commercial code. You can't use a commercial code for a residential code. That's first. Second, the guy never asked, where is it located at? Because that matters too, okay?
Chicago, Illinois, here with some fellow practitioners here on the 100 Town Tour. These guys just had lunch, so I don't know. They might be losing some steam, I don't know, but they are an exceptional group here, and I'm thinking they can hang. So, Chicago, 100 Towns Tour. Hit Chicago again. What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah, baby. Let's get into the code game now. 100 Towns Tour, Chicago again.
The guy that sent him the code has no idea what he's talking about, because if he did, he would have first said, is it commercial or is it residential? Because that actually matters. You can't use one like a residential code for a commercial code, and you can't use a commercial code for a residential code. That's first. Second, the guy never asked, where is it located at? Because that matters too, okay? And so again, a lot of people, they're thinking, the city of such and such has their own codes that they wrote. They don't. Cities don't write codes. There's only one place that writes the codes, okay? No matter where you are, whether it's Illinois, whether it's Arkansas, whether it's the other states you guys are at, doesn't matter where you're at, okay? The codes are written by the same place, and that is the International Code Council, okay? So if you're going to be on their site somewhere, like if you want to look at their codes, the only site that really matters is the one that ends in IECCsafe.org, because that's the International Code Council's actual site, okay? So the International Code Council makes all of the codes, all right? And what codes are those? So let's look at them. They make a lot of different kind of codes. So we can start to look down through here. We can see here, one thing that stands out to me, we've got the International Plumbing Code, International Mechanical Code, International Building Code, IBC, right? International Residential Code, Mechanical Code, Fuel Gas Code, Private Sewage Code, International Energy Conservation Code, International Existing Building Code, Property Maintenance Code, and we can keep going. There's lots of different code books, right? And that's what I was saying before, it could seem so overwhelming, because if I want to get into codes, that means I have to buy all these code books, right? Well, I don't. And if I did want to buy some books, it wouldn't be all these books, it would only be 3 of them. Okay, so I want you to focus on 3 of these books and disregard all the rest. Meaning, because look, plumbing code, mechanical code, electrical code, yes, you have to comply, but you need to get with an electrician for your electrical stuff. You need to go to the plumber for that. You know what I mean? You still got to comply, but I just say disregard, because you don't have to. You shouldn't have to be held to learn all that stuff when you're using those guys, right? I do think you need to have a general basic understanding of codes. That way, if you are working with a plumber or electrician, you can maybe hold them accountable a little bit, right? If you understand what the codes are. But the only thing that I want you guys to focus on are 3 different sets of these codes. And that's the International Building Code, the IBC, the International Residential Code, the IRC, okay, and the International Energy Conservation Code. Okay? Now, a couple things. International Residential Code, use that for residential jobs. Okay? Real cheat sheet there, all right?
Don't ever take notes.
You want to slow down? Let's say it again. International Residential Code, use that one for residential jobs, all right? International Building Code, use that for commercial jobs. If you get mixed up, think B, business, like business code. You know what I mean? I try to like in my head, you know. But International Building Code, commercial jobs. International Residential Code, residential jobs. And then the third one, International Energy Conservation Code, residential and commercial jobs. Okay? So that's the first thing. We're just going to simplify it. All right? Now the other thing is these codes, those 3 books, because let's just forget about all the rest of them. These 3 books right here, they're published once every 3 years. Okay? Meaning, and let me just tell you, this is the most recent version, 2018 version. The next one that'll be ready to come out will be the 2021 version, okay? But it's not out yet. Right now, 2018 just came out this recently, okay? It's the most recent version. The ones before that, and same, so I'm sorry, I'm pointing at that one. I'm really meaning to point at that one. International Energy Conservation Code, International Building Code, International Residential Code, those 3 codes. This one right here, 2018, and then the International Building Code, 2018. Right, those are the most recent version. Before that, it was the 2015 version of the IRC, IBC, and IEC. Before that, it was the 2012 version, right? 2009, 2006, 2003, 2000, blah, blah, blah. You get it? Now, it might get a little confusing because if you start looking over at these mechanical codes and plumbing codes, those are published sometimes every 2 years. You can see they already have their 2021 out, but it's not the same as the IBC, IRC, IECC. Those codes are published once every 3 years. So which one do we use? The most recent version, right? Wrong, right? I wish it was that simple. This is where the city comes into it. We just have to find out not what code the city wrote, we just have to find out which one of those 3 codes did the city adopt. It is one of those codes, though, no matter what city it's in. All right? Now, you might find yourself in a city that's not really, or maybe it's not even a city. It's an unincorporated area. Like, I don't know what you call them out here, townships or counties or whatever, right? It's an unincorporated area. So if you're in that situation, then you would go to the county. But you start with a city, then county, then state. Okay? Let me explain. So let's say I got to go do an inspection in the city of Schaumburg, all right? Because that's a city around here. You guys know that. So I have an inspection scheduled and go to the city of Schaumburg. Before I even go there, I want to find out what codes apply, because those are the rules that govern that job. You see what I mean? Like, I don't even want to start out on it until I know what the codes are at that job. And so look, how you do that is real simple, guys. You just go to Google and type in City of Schaumburg, Illinois building codes, right? And look what I got right here, top link right away. There it is. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for adoptions. These are the codes that the City of Schaumburg currently adopts. That means if I'm going to the city of Schaumburg for a job, these are the rules in the city of Schaumburg. It has nothing to do with the city of Lombard, city of Chicago, any of that. You see what I mean? It's the city of Schaumburg. And as you can see, the city of Schaumburg says that if we're doing residential jobs, it's going to be the 2015 International Residential Code. Commercial jobs, 2015 International Building Code. And we're looking for one more. This one, International Energy Conservation Code, which it doesn't really matter what city we're in Illinois, because guess what? The whole state has adopted the most recent version of the IECC, the International Energy Conservation Code. The whole state. The whole state. No matter where you are in the state of Illinois, the IECC has to be the most recent version. Everybody with me so far on this? Okay. All right, now I want to show you one other thing here to keep it going. Right here, if I go to the IBC, into the code book of the IBC, the International Building Code, well, first thing you got to understand, all the codes on this page, all the codes are all based on the International Building Code. I don't try not to be too confusing because I know I said that's commercial, right? But let me explain. If you go into this International Building Code, there's a section for residential, okay? You go to that section and it says you got to comply with everything in this section. And if you want to read this section, you got to go pick up the International Residential Code book. Does that make sense? So you do got to go over to the other book to read about the residential section in this book. In this book, there's a whole section about energy conservation, international energy conservation, right? And in that section, it says, you got to comply with everything in this section. And if you want to read this section, you got to go get the International Energy Conservation Code book. Does that make sense so far? So this is like the pillar of all the codes. They're all based on this. It's just they're not contained in the book. There's a section that says, to read this section, you got to go get that other book. Does that make sense? I'm trying not to confuse you too much with that, but that is a thing, okay? All right, now, let's say I got a residential job, and I want to go search the IRC. Like, remember, so now I need to go buy the IRC book, right? No, I don't need to buy any of these books. You know why? Because it's available online. You can go online, you can buy it and do premium view, or you can just do the free view and just go search the code yourself. There it is right there in all its glory. There's the International Residential Code right there. All of it. Is this like a third-party hacker site? No. It's the IECC site. They have a free view. You don't have to buy the book. You see what I mean? It's all right there, publicly searchable. So like if you're doing, since everybody here is mostly roofers, right? If you want to go do roofing jobs in the IRC, you got to go to Chapter 9, Roof Assemblies, right? And the IBC for commercial jobs is Chapter 15, Roof Assemblies. It says basically the same stuff, right? But that's why, if I'm doing a residential job, I can't be looking in the IBC out of Chapter 15. It doesn't make any sense. All the codes are going to say Chapter 15, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't pertain to residential jobs. So that's what those guys in the groups are doing, though. They're passing around inaccurate codes to each other, and they're getting by with it. Why would you think they're actually getting by with it? Because the adjusters don't know anything about codes. Like these dumb, misstated, inaccurate codes are being passed around through our community, and they're working because the adjusters don't know what they're doing. Does that make sense? It's really crazy. So you can almost half-ass it and still get by, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to be accurate, because you will run into the adjuster that knows the stuff. You know what I mean? So, and you want to be a good steward of the industry, right? All right. So but all the codes, you can see they're all right there. So any of those codes that I want, we were talking about that flashing code earlier, right? Let's go look at it. It's down at the bottom somewhere under re-roofing. Roof insulation, re-roofing, there it is. Roof replacement, roof recover, right here, there's all the, you got to go all the way down the roof deck, where the existing roof or roof covering is water soaked or has deteriorated to the point that the existing roof or roof covering is not adequate as a base for additional roofing. And this is where you find all your stuff at, right? And I've got these things in snippets that you're going to have. But here's the flashings, right? And the reinstallation. This is my favorite code of all time right here. This code right here, 908.5. Existing slate, clay, or cement tile shall be permitted for reinstallation except that damaged, cracked, or broken slate or tile shall not be reinstalled. And here's the sentence. Any existing flashings, edgings, outlets, vents, or similar devices that are a part of the assembly. What assembly? Well, we're in roof assemblies right now in the chapter. Part of the roof assembly, right? Shall be replaced where rusted, damaged, or deteriorated. And again, nail holes constitute damage, okay? That's damage. You show a picture of that and that code and it's gone, okay? Now, look, it says, shall be replaced where rusted, damaged, or deteriorated. It is, but this is the 2018 version. The previous version, 2015, said when rusted, damaged, or deteriorated. Here it says where rusted, damaged, or tear. The only change to that code in the new version is the word where. You know what I mean? I'm just making a point that there are changes every 3 years, but they're so subtle, right? They're so subtle. Like 2012, drip edge became required, okay? So if you're anywhere where it's 2012 or newer, and they didn't have drip edge before, they must have drip edge going back. Does that make sense? But that's one of the more drastic changes. Now look, it says, you can see up here, get your free trial, get more with premium access. There's a paid version that has a lot more resources if you want to really dig into it. Like you can get support from different people, there's forums, you can get like code precedent. It works like in case law with lawsuits, like case precedent, right? Like you can see where these codes have actually, like it's come into a real life scenario at a building department somewhere on a job, and they had to make a call, and that became precedent. Does that make sense? Like their decision had to be made, and that became a precedent that helps in aiding decisions further. If you really get deep with it, right? My thing is, you don't have to, right? Like you don't have to buy these. In the premium version, you can go through and start selecting this text and copying and pasting, right? You can't do it on the free version. But me, I don't want to copy and paste it anyway. I need to make an image of the code. So I'm going to go down to my little snipping tool and click new and go to my code that I want to snip, right? And I just do a little screenshot and then save that as an image, and now it's a JPEG attachment. Xactimate takes JPEG only with image attachments, right? And so I don't want to copy and paste it anyway. I want to attach it as an image. So for me, I don't need the books. I just like, this is good enough for me, right? But where I came from, guys, like when I was the 10 years as a contractor before going to the consulting route, I didn't know anything about this stuff, fellas. That's why I feel like I can beat some people up, because that was me, like I am so ashamed of my lack of knowledge of building codes as and all down up in Florida and all those areas where I was at, man. Oh, wow, that was so just like risky, not knowing what I was doing, Like, and I thought I had, like, people that I was surrounded by, they knew the codes, right? I now realize they didn't know anything about them either, I was just out there really lucky to have made it through and not, but really, it's something in my training course, I almost got a little choked up about it because I was really ashamed about it, like, because I think about the clients that I did a disservice to, you know what I mean? If I didn't know what the codes were, I could have got a lot more done the job right, which that has to be your number one priority regardless of the insurance company approves it or not, right? But so many items didn't get approved that I never were even attempted, all because of my incompetence. You know what I mean? And all because I looked at codes like they were too hard. They were like a Japanese language, So hopefully with that, let me show you one other thing before I move forward. I just want to show you the inside of... So this is that 30-hour plus online training course called IEScertified.com. You guys will all get an email from IES Certified with the access to all your documents. But what I'm showing you is the inside of my full course right here. Like in case any of you guys do want to sign up for the full thing. There's 5 main chapters here, or 6 really. Introduction with 58 segments. The code game, 32 segments, how to perform proper damage inspection, how to build a proper damage estimate. There's 4.5 hours start to finish of me writing one Xactimate estimate. Like roof, siding, interior stuff, from start to, like, here's where you put the client name. And the data import, somebody was asking about that with the ESX, that's in there. How to export the file, how to do an F9 footnote, It's like I'm not an Xactimate trainer, so it might, but that's the point. I don't want to train like a trainer would, because that's who trains adjusters. Like, I wanted to say, like, I don't think you need any of this over here, but I just focus on this over. It's kind of like if you've never used it before, you could do it. Getting started out. All right, how to properly supplement and invoice a job, how to use best methods for overhead and profit. But the bottom one is the downloads. So everyone here, no matter what, will get access to this section right now, or right here with the downloads. And what you'll see inside, there's forms. So let's look at those first. Emergency services work authorization is right there. Let's take a look at it. So it's in Word format because that's how it comes in Xactimate. So that it's an Xactimate document. It'll auto-populate with your client's info and everything. But it's real simple. See what it says? I authorize as a direct pay, right? This is a standard industry form. This is not my form. This is Xactimate's. This is what everybody uses. And that's what I would use for mitigation, for tarping, emergency services, right? All right, so I've got an Xactimate opening statement in here, letter of authorizations for mortgage companies, and you can see I've got PDF and doc. So I've got a Word doc that you can modify, and then I've got a PDF that you just want to review it to see what it looks like, right? Insurance form, I told you about the contract paperwork I use, those are in here. Insurance email submission, what I use to send to the insurance company. And then over here, you've got your 2018 codes. These are the most recent. There's all the code snippets for solidly sheathed decks right there, right? Flashing requirements. Just about anything you can think of for what you guys are going to be doing is here. Is I tried to take the most commonly used codes that I use, made a collection of them for you guys to use, right? So there's all the 2018 IRC, which is residential, right? 2018 International Energy Conservation Code stuff, all right? That's where you get your ISO board and stuff like that, your R values, climate zone map right there. 2018 IBC, right? It's all those. You can just download those and use them however you want. 2015 IRC, 2015, 2012, 2012, 2009, a little bit of 2006. Anybody wants to go down to Florida? I got some Florida stuff in there. Okay, and then here are your template files, right? 3-tab shingle roof. And as I mentioned, you're going to get a PDF document and an ESX. That little squiggly line through it, that's the ESX data file. You can't open it. Don't text me and say, or message me and say, I can't open this ESX file. You can't open the ESX file. You have to import it first, okay? All right, laminated composition, concrete tile, metal roof, modified bitumen, tar and gravel, cedar shake, slate roof, TPO, asbestos, roof tarp, right? Let's go look at that. Okay, here's the tarp one I was telling you guys about. It's 26 squares. I told you 24, my bad. But that's what it looks like, just a basic standard tarp job, right? And you can see 10,761. I thought it was 10 plus OMP, I was wrong. 10, that's after OMP. And there's what it looks like right there. It's a real tarp job. Look at it, isn't that beautiful? That's a $10,000 tarp job. You know what I mean? All right. Anyway, all right. The hardy board siding, that's the one we were going off of. We were looking at earlier, right? Asbestos siding, water restoration mitigation, water restoration reconstruction, contents packing. We got into that today. Contents cleaning, fire mitigation, fire reconstruction, animal control. By the way, if you guys ever have bats or squirrels or raccoons or something like that in the attic and you're doing the roof, stop the press. That's got to be full-on remediated. That is toxic. Wherever those things live, they defecate and urinate in that area, and it's toxic. It's got to be remediated. Like the materials have to be stripped off and replaced. We got to prime and paint and remediate. Like clean everything. It's crazy. I know that's something I never knew when I was out there doing that stuff. Tree versus building. That's a good one too. So I hope you guys, you find there's a lot in there, right? But that's what it looked like. You get an email from IES Certified. Are there any questions about the code game or any of this stuff so far?
Why would they cover the animal stuff?
Huh?
Like the animals being out there, why would they cover the
Direct physical damage.
It's direct physical damage, yeah. It's damage.
They used to not do like raccoons because they consider them part of the rat family at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, rodent family.
New on me.
So, but then
That's
they
something.
changed that because genetics came along and they said they weren't rats.
That's new on me, dude. I'm telling you what, I learned something new all the time. Like this,
family.
the part of the bear family?
Yeah, and several ways are rejected.
They also-
Really?
You also I see it
Vermin compete with humans for food.
Vermin. Got it. Rats. That makes sense now. Pests, yeah.
Raccoons don't, they eat garbage mostly.
So interesting.
From the bear family, so
takes
everything
away from the
matters.
R value of the nest, because they'll say in there like no nest or things like that. You can say, well, that takes away the R value of insulation.
It's freaking fascinating to me. It really is. I mean,
I had a bat infestation.
yeah, bats are good.
And they tried denying that as vermin also. They're not vermin.
I guess they kind of do look like little mice, right?
Yeah, I had originally denied mine.
I got 4,000 more than they wanted.
2 months.
Love it, love it. Man. All right, I'm gonna move on with this, guys. All right, I think I'm trying to make sure I got everything. Everybody got no other questions about the code game, right? So you guys you got the code game now, right? You got it. If it's a residential job, you use the International Building Code, right?
No.
Just making sure, okay. All right, so now we're gonna talk about